Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host. I got Paul here with me. You want to be on camera, Paul? He doesn't care. He's eating pistachios, but I'm just going to talk. So we're here actually at our 03, 24 hours after we had thought we would be picking up. The guy never showed up. We'll see if he shows up tonight. I mean, somebody's going to owe me some money because we basically came, waited like 2.5 hours. And when I say no one is here, I mean like nobody, like some cats, maybe, but no human beings. So I had to use the bathroom because there's not even a porta potty here that I can see at least. And so we went over to there's a Pilot down the road, and we luckily found a spot. So we just stayed there, kind of rested up. So we're just waiting to pick up this last part of this load, and all of this is going to New Jersey. So we're in Brawley, California, down here in Imperial County. I think we're going to run down, get on the 8, take the 8 over to, I think, Casa Grande, Arizona, and catch the 10. And we're just going to probably take the 10 over and into Texas and catch the 20, trying to stay south of where all the weather's been. Although, since we're delayed like 24 hours, we're probably going to be behind everything. But I still think we'll stay off 40 until we get way east. And then, I don't know, we'll figure it out once we get to like Birmingham or something, how we want to go from there. But I wanted to just throw a quick video out because in the past, like 24 hours, I've seen a couple of videos from prime drivers or people that maybe aren't going to be prime drivers anymore, talking about some of their experiences. And you can call me old-fashioned or whatever, but I'm going to kind of lay things out here for people. And this applies to people of any age. And I want to just put this in front of you so you kind of understand the lay of the land. So let me first start by saying what it means to be an at-will employee. And I've talked about this in the past, but if you're an at-will employee, and so that would apply to anybody at any trucking company that's a company driver, or like if you're a trainee, like if you're at Prime, for example, and you're in TNT, you are a company employee. And so when you have an at-will employment status, that means that you can quit at any time. Now, let me kind of preface this by saying, if you have a contract that says you're going to commit to working for a certain period of time, then you have to honor that contract or pay the money. But if you really just wanted to quit, I don't even know where that shadow's coming from. I think it's coming, I don't know. Anyway, if you wanted to quit, you could just quit, right? That's what at will means. Means you can quit at any time without notice for any reason, right? You get angry at your boss, you can walk out in the middle of a shift. No one can stop you. Conversely, the company can fire you or terminate you at any time for any reason or for no reason. Like, your boss could just come in and not like the shirt you're wearing and go, you're fired. And there's nothing you can do about it. Why? Because that's the law, okay? And if you're wondering why is that the law, well, for the past like 50 years, a lot of states have passed employment laws that basically say that's how the employer-employee relationship works. If you're in a union, they can't just fire you. So now there are some exceptions to this, like constructive discharge, behaviors that are proscribed by law, like sexual harassment, intimidation, pointing a gun at your head, stuff like that. You could have a cause of action. But if none of that has happened and an employer just wants to can you, they can. And like I said, you can quit for any reason. Like, you could get hired and then find a new job the next day and quit. I mean, people do that. I don't recommend it, but in some industries, no one's going to care. So that brings me to the trainee-trainer relationship. And here's how this goes. If somebody is on a truck as a trainee, right, they have certain expectations that I think are valid. One is that they should be able to get trained, and they should be treated with respect and with dignity, and they shouldn't be yelled at, they shouldn't be bullied, or and there shouldn't be inequities, like the trainee shouldn't be driving every night and the trainer never driving at night. The trainee shouldn't have to stay in a truck while a trainer goes home, or while a trainer goes and stays in a hotel with his girlfriend or something. Okay? So there's certain expectations that I think the trainees deserve to have. They deserve to be treated fairly, get their miles, and accomplish their next goal. On the other hand, while my approach is to try to be as equitable as possible with my trainees, and it's been, I've certainly documented who's been on my truck. My view also is that it's my truck, and I have the responsibility for the truck, and my company, man, that shadow's making me crazy. All right, I'll try this. And my LLC is paying for the truck. And so I expect my trainees to do what I say when it comes to, how we're going to run the truck, or what the truck rules are, or anything like that. And again, I don't want to be arbitrary or capricious. I don't want to be ridiculous. But if I say something, I kind of expect that it's going to get done, and that I shouldn't have to look over anybody's shoulder to make sure that they're obeying my truck rules. And here's the thing. It doesn't really matter to me, even though I like to have a cordial relationship with my trainees, and I have had cordial relationships. I still talk to everybody, if there was something that I wanted, and I said, no, here's how this has to be, then it's not really subject for debate. I don't really care about their feelings about it. Now, if they have a question about why I'm making a decision, I'm happy to share that, because especially if it's like a training moment, I want to explain why I'm doing something, because I'm hoping that they'll emulate that behavior when they get on their own truck. It's kind of like I figured out some best practices. I want to share those. They don't have to incorporate all that once they're off my truck, but while they're on my truck, they're going to do it. And I've never gotten any pushback, so I don't even know what I would do if I did. But the trainee's job, again, trainees should expect to be trained. They should expect to be treated, with respect and professionalism. And if that's not happening, they have every right to request a new trainer. But when all that's happening, and a trainee decides they're just going to, run with their own rules, that's a problem. And it doesn't matter why somebody wants to run with their own rules. All that matters is that they're on somebody else's truck. And there is no one at Prime, and I mean no one, not any driver, that's required to train. So getting on somebody's truck and training with them is a privilege. It's not a right. Prime doesn't guarantee you a trainer. So when you have a trainer that's good or great, or maybe even adequate, you should just do, if you're the trainee, your best while you're on their truck. Get your miles done, and then go do your own thing, whether you want to lease, purchase, go company, whatever. So that's a piece of advice that I'm giving. But here's another piece of advice, and this has more to do with just life in the big city, as I like to call it. You know, I heard somebody recently talking about how they didn't have a personal relationship with their fleet manager. And it kind of struck me because I was like, you know, that's really kind of naive, because this person said, oh, I don't have a personal relationship with my fleet manager. All that person is out to do is make money, and they don't really care about me. And I got to thinking about that. And, you know, the thing about fleet managers is this. I don't know how many drivers at Prime have ever met their fleet manager in person. I have. I took the time to go down in the Millennium building I guess that's where he is. Down in the basement and down where the sausage is made, and seek him out. And then I had a conversation with him, and we have a very cordial relationship, right? We joke with each other, but we understand each other. And what I think we understand about each other is that I'm here for filthy lucre, and he's here for filthy lucre. Like, he might like me, but if I don't produce, you know, he's probably not going to be that happy with me, and he's probably not going to want to spend a lot of capital dealing with me. Conversely, if he gives me crap loads all the time, I'm probably going to have a problem with him. Or when I identify a problem and he doesn't do anything about it, I'm going to have an issue with that. And by the way, I've fired driver managers in the past, and I've talked about that. I mean, I had a great driver manager and a great terminal manager, for that matter, when I was at night. But I just didn't make enough money there, and it wasn't their fault. It's just the pay structure. I had crappy driver managers, J&R Schugel. That's one of the reasons I left the company. I had my first driver manager at GP Transco was kind of lazy and didn't want to run me. So I went to operations, got a new driver manager immediately, and he and I had a great relationship. And guess what? I never met the guy face to face because he was in Lithuania. Lithuania, it's a foreign country. It's a Baltic state. You know, they live in fear of getting overrun by the Russians. But you know what? That guy looked out for me like nobody, like he was my brother. Like, he would give me pay when I didn't even ask for it. Like, he'd be like, oh, Terry, they held you up, I'll give you money, basically. All the time. And I made good money at GP Transco, and I ran all the time. And I attribute that to my fleet manager. But you know what, or my driver manager. But one time he said to me, and this was, you know, he always expressed appreciation, but he was just very polite and cordial. But one time he said to me, he said, Terry, I appreciate that when your 10-hour break is up, you get up and get on the road. Now, I don't know, maybe he had drivers that like to sleep in every day or whatever. But I demanded that they run me hard, and I responded by running hard. So it was a great relationship. And so coming back to my fleet manager at Prime, you know, it doesn't matter if my fleet manager really cares about me. It only matters that I can make money. That's our relationship. I like the guy. You know, I'd feel bad if he fell down a flight of stairs or got run over by a pterodactyl or something. I would feel bad because I know he has a wife. I know he has children. So I would feel bad. But, you know, our relationship is fairly mercenary, right? It's a business relationship. You know, we don't exchange Christmas cards. We don't, you know, I don't go when his kid has a concert in kindergarten or whatever. Same thing, he doesn't go to my kids when they get married, right? We're not that close. But we're work friends, and that's a good enough relationship. And you know, when you're in a business, right, and think about your fleet manager for a second. I know sometimes we feel like we get ignored, but can you imagine being a guy that has to manage like 50 drivers, you know, and when 1/3 of them are temperamental and the other, you know, another third of them are lazy? then you're left with a third of them that are easy to deal with and always get stuff done. I mean, they have a hard job too. And by the way, I kind of know, because I've talked to people at Prime, you know, people that get hired to be potential fleet managers, they don't always make it through the process, through the pipeline. A lot of times, you know, I really do think at Prime, at least on the lease side, the fleet managers are the cream of the crop. And then there's other people that work there. I could be wrong, and I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but that's my take on it. So if you're looking for somebody to hold your hand or pat your head every time you do something correct, you're probably in the wrong business. I don't know which business you should be in, because even when I ran my own law firm, I loved the people that worked for me, and we had great relationships. We genuinely cared about each other. But I didn't make it a habit to just tell people how awesome they were or how I appreciated them doing a good job, right? Like that's the standard. Now, I will tell you, I showed my appreciation by paying people quite a bit. I gave out bonuses to every single employee every year. You know, we took people to sporting events and had nice parties and stuff like that. And you know, that's actually how I want my driver manager or my fleet manager to show me appreciation. Don't tell me you appreciate me, show me with something that has a bunch of zeros behind it and shows up on my statement on a given week. You know, like, I don't want my fleet manager to say, hey, I appreciate you guys hanging around in, you know, the desert in California for 24 hours. No, I don't want him to tell me that. I don't care if he tells me that. I want him to pay me for sitting around for 24 hours, you know, and I want, and I don't care if they get it from the shipper or the customer. I don't care if they get the money. I just want their money. You know, it doesn't matter to me if they recoup it. I want to get paid. So anyway, I'm sorry if this hurts anybody's feelings, but I'm not really sorry, because I'm just telling you how the world works. And I'm telling you how trucking works, and I'm telling you a little bit about how this company works. And if any of that rubs you the wrong way, then maybe you're in the wrong industry, or maybe you're working at the wrong company, or, you know, maybe you should try something else. But I can tell you that Prime is one of the nicer trucking companies out there, and that people at Prime are typically fairly patient with drivers and do their best to help. And I appreciate that, because I know what it's like in other places, and I know what it's like in the world at large. You know, I used to work with people that all had college educations and wore coats and ties, and many of them were flaming assholes 24/7. So I actually enjoy the trucking industry. It's sometimes it's a little scrappy, but my view is that it could be a lot worse, and there are probably, well, I know for a fact there are companies out there that care way less about any of their drivers than Prime does. So I hope this was helpful or eye-opening or an epiphany or, you know, whatever. But and you might not believe any of what I'm saying, but I'm pretty confident in it, and about how the world works. You know, I'm pushing 60, so I've been around a little while, and I hope that my experience is something that people can look at and say, oh, okay, now I know what to expect. So anyway, be safe. It's sunny and nice here, and we're gonna be heading east here. We haven't seen rain, or it's just been sunny and nice all the time we've been in Cali. So nothing wrong with running the West Coast in the winter time. So anyway, talk to you guys later. Be safe. Bye.